What is good, everyone? Welcome to the channel. My name is Paul. I make videos about Japanese society, life, and culture from the viewpoint of a long-term foreign resident. I've been in Japan for 20 years, and today I'm going to be sharing with you everyday, mundane items that you can find in any Japanese household, but that you might not recognize if you're not a resident of Japan. In fact, I would not have recognized pretty much all of these items growing up in a mid-sized Midwestern city, so I thought I would share these items with you today. I got some footage inside a local home goods store. I'm going to put those images up on the screen and explain to you what the item is and how it's used. But to make it more interactive, I'm also going to put a few of those items, 5 to be exact. I'm going to put them up and I'm going to quiz you on what you think they are. Now, if you're a resident here, you'll know what they are immediately. But even if you have come here as a tourist, unless you did a homestay, you probably don't know what these items are. So I'll put an item up and I'll give you 3 choices, basically multiple choice quiz, and let us know in the comments how well you do. If you are a resident here and you feel like there's some items that you find around the house that I should have talked about and that I didn't include, well, please let us know in the comments about those as well. Now, before I get into the list of items, I just want to say a quick shout out to the sponsor of today's video, Sakuraco. If you don't know, Sakuraco is a artisan Japanese snack box subscription service, which basically you get a box of curated Japanese wagashi, sweets, goodies to your front door every month, and if you use my code, you'll get a discount. And I'll talk more about that later, but let's get into the first item. Japanese summers are very hot and very humid, and most Japanese homes do not have central air. There will be air conditioning units or fans or whatever you might have in individual rooms, but with no central air, you have a lot of problems with potential like mildew and mold that can get into your closets, etc. And so these items are called joshitsuzai. Basically, they're a chemical beads that are inside of a plastic box that sucks moisture out of the air. So you can put these into closets, into cupboards, into drawers, etc., so that they suck moisture out and keep your clothes from becoming moldy. Put them in shoe boxes as well for that exact same purpose. And speaking of summer, let's talk about our first quiz item. What do you think these are? Inside these boxes, you'll find a coil that is made from herbs and grasses, and it's called katori senko. Now, what do you think this is for? A, to ward off insects. B, it's a type of incense that's particular to summer. Or C, it's a type of fertilizer to use in the garden. The correct answer is A. You light these, they put smoke out into the air, and they keep away insects. In fact, you'll see farmers or people working in fields with a metal canister connected to their belt, and so they're actually using that as an insect repellent while they're outside, as you know, it's just on their body. Okay, this next item, these are bath powders and bath salts. Pretty much it's tradition in Japan every evening to draw a bath for the family, and to make it more interesting and to make it more comfortable and aromatic, they sell many of these different bath cream, bath powders, bath salts that you can put into the bath to have a variation. Some of them purport to have special skin supporting minerals, etc. And some of them are meant to smell and have mineral content that is kind of like an onsen bath that you might experience. So it's very relaxing. It's a very nice way to make a bath nicer, more interesting, and more comfortable. And here we have an entire aisle dedicated to bathroom stools. Typically, the culture in Japan is that you sit on one of these stools and take your shower and wash your body before you get into the bath. So you're getting into the bath essentially with a clean body. That is the process. It would be the same if you go to a hot springs resort in Japan as a tourist. You're supposed to wash yourself first and then get into the bath. And there's a variety of stools here that you can choose from. Basically buy it so you have a place to sit down in your shower. Most showers in Japan are not fixed to the wall. They're going to be on a rope, or on the hose rather, and most showers are going to be on a hose that is removable from the wall, and basically you can get it all around you. This next one is your second quiz number. Here we see these little white nets that are inside these plastic packages. Where are these little nets used? Are they used A, in the laundry washing machine, B, in the laundry drying machine, or C, in your kitchen sink? The correct answer is in the kitchen sink. If you're from America, you might be used to having a garbage disposal. You know, where you put like onion peels and any kind of vegetables, like when you've grated a carrot and you throw some of that down at the garbage disposal and you grind it up and it goes away. In Japan, there aren't garbage disposals. You actually have to put all of that kind of what's called namagomi, or fresh trash or produce trash, into this little white net, which is affixed in a little tin or metal box. And basically you collect all that stinky, nasty vegetable, fruit, peelings, whatever trash in that, and eventually you pull that out and you throw it into a trash bag and dispose of it. Now, one other thing to note about these is that if you answered B, that it has something to do with a clothes dryer, well, almost no Japanese homes have dryers. It is far more common to dry your clothes on clotheslines or maybe in a room with a dehumidifier going, but yeah, dryers are absolutely not common in Japan. And that leads us to this next aisle, where there's an entire aisle filled with clothes hanging options. The number of clothes hangers and variety of clothes hangers you can buy in a home center. There's metal ones, there's plastic ones, there's all different kind of arrangements depending on, you know, the style that you want to hang your clothes in, whether you're hanging them inside or outside, what kind of rack you can buy to, you know, set up inside the home so you can hang a bunch of clothes across it. So yeah, you will find all manner of clothes hanging things because you're not going to have a dryer in your apartment or in your house. But speaking of that namagomi, or that fresh produce, trash, etc., it should be pointed out that there's also a huge variety of trash bags available in Japan. And depending on your municipality, they can be very strict about the type of bag you use. Some municipalities will insist on bags with handles. Some will say they shouldn't have handles. Some will say that this type of trash should be in a tome, basically a clear bag, or hantome, which would be like half clear, so it's slightly opaque. There will be rules about, you know, how clear the bag is, that you can see inside it or not. So there is a huge variety of trash bags that you can buy. Some municipalities even have their own trash bags that they provide to their citizens. It's like a specific color and will have the name of the city on it, etc. So Japan, very particular about how trash is thrown away. Here is your next quiz item. What do you think these things are? Are they A, mat for shoes, B, a cover for a bathtub, or C, a privacy screen? The correct answer is B, a cover for a bathtub. So in Japan, basically, as I mentioned before, you take a shower before you take your bath, and in order to keep the water in the bath warm, you put one of these covers across the top of it. When you're finished with your bath, you cover it up so it keeps in the warmth for the next person who's going to come in and take a bath. And it also keeps the bath extra clean, because if you're taking your shower and you're splashing water around, it's not going into the bathtub. So it serves that dual purpose. I'd like to take a moment to talk about the sponsor of today's video, Sakuraco. Sakuraco is an artisan Japanese snack box, meaning every month to your front door you'll receive a curated box of Japanese sweets, treats, and other goodies. One of the reasons I've partnered with Sakuraco is because I talk about Japanese culture on this channel, and Sakuraco leans heavily into the cultural aspect of the boxes that they put together. This is not just some random sweets and treats. They actually curate the box so that it fits a particular theme or a particular area of Japan. Now, at this time of the year, it is Sakura season, cherry blossom season. It is in full swing right now, and all of the companies are putting out Sakura themed items, and Sakuraco is no different. This box is once again Sakura themed, and the items inside, I'm presuming, are also Sakura themed. So let's take a look. As you can see, there's an array of items. Each box will actually come with 20 different Japanese treats, some of them sweet, some of them salty, all of them good and carefully selected for the season or from the prefecture or area of Japan that they were sourced from. Each box comes with carefully selected tea as well, and I will enjoy the tea right now. Also included in the box is a Japanese item, some kind of tableware or a Japanese everyday use item. I'm actually going to enjoy the tea in a teacup that was given in a previous Sakuraco box. Definitely a very floral perfume. I can actually taste the sakura on there. Sakura is a flavor that they bring out at this time of year. It's usually taken from the leaves, actually, of the sakura. It's not from the blossoms themselves, although you do find cherry blossom tea. In fact, last month's box had a cherry blossom tea in it. Now, I would like to choose one of the treats that I think will match really well with the tea, so something that's a little more simple. I'm thinking that this sakura cream cookie might be the way to go. It's these two thinly baked cookies with a sakura cream sandwiched in between it, and I think that will probably match the tea very nicely. And like many Japanese sweets, it's not overpoweringly sweet, so it will match tea quite nicely. Now, each box comes with a booklet that has information on all of the sweets and treats that you have in the box. In addition to a description of the item, it also tells you the all-important allergen information. Now, this teacup came in a previous Sakuraco box. In this box, we have a piece of Japanese tableware, and appropriately, it is in Sakura theme. Has lovely sakura blossoms on there and actually has a Sakuraco label on the back, and these items are made in Japan. Inside this booklet you'll also find information about Japanese culture. For example, in this one we have an article about traditional Japanese lanterns, and it will also have pages of information where they actually talk about the makers of these sweets themselves, how long they've been in business, how long they've been doing their craft, and that's all very interesting as well. I'd like to try one more thing before I send you back to the video. I want to go with something salty because I already had something sweet. I'm going to try these Sakura Senbei. Now, this is a great chance to learn some kanji. This is the character for Sakura. You will see this character everywhere at this time of year, including on many products like this. At first bite, the Sakura taste hits a little bit, and then you get kind of a salty senbei rice cracker taste. And then the aftertaste is a really strong Sakura. So if you're interested in what Sakura tastes like, they do not skimp on that flavor in these senbei. So once again, Sakuraco has come through with a beautifully curated box, and if you use my link below and my code at checkout, Exjapter, you will receive $5 off of your first order. So if that sounds good to you, not only will you receive a wonderful box of goodies every month, but you'll also be helping the channel. Thank you so much. Let's go back to the video. Now in Japan, there aren't many homes that have actual ovens. Instead, you'll have something like this, which is a gas or maybe denki electronic kondo. You can also call it a gas range if you want. However, if you go into a store and ask for a gas stove, they will show you this thing instead. Because a gas stove is actually a kerosene heater for heating your home in the winter. And this is how I lived when I first moved to Japan. I lived in an apartment, no air conditioning, no central air. It was using a kerosene or toyu stove. And my in-laws' house is still heated that way. They still use gas stoves there. Now, the gas range, you'll notice in the center there is a fish grill. Pretty much every gas kondo you're going to come across will have this center grill thing in the middle, and that's ready-made for grilling fish, because while Japanese don't do much baking in the home, they do a lot of grilling of fish for their breakfast and lunch or dinner. And very likely next to that gas range, you will find a rice cooker. Almost no one is boiling rice in a pot. They are going to use a rice cooker, and there's always a huge variety of brands and models, and they're always talking about making improvements, and the rice tastes so much better if you cook it in our rice cooker, etc., etc. You can program them to sit overnight, much like a coffee maker, so that they start making the rice at like 5 a.m., so it's ready for your breakfast at 6. So yeah, rice cooker is an absolute essential in a Japanese kitchen. Now, if you live in an apartment in Japan and you have one of those gas ranges, you really should get one of these to go behind that range, to keep the wall behind it nice and clean, and basically to keep kind of the heat radiating onto your fry pans or whatever you're using. And yeah, it's for cleanliness and for efficiency. They sell these obviously regularly in home stores, and you should replace them, every few years or so. But yeah, this is another common thing that you'll find in Japanese homes that goes along with that gas range. Now, the interesting thing about these gas ranges is, though, if you move into an apartment in Japan, unless you are, say, on a special program where someone is your predecessor and you're moving into their old apartment, if you're moving into a new apartment that, it's just you found on the internet or through an agency, etc., it's not going to have really anything in there, including that gas range. You're going to have to go out and buy one and hook it up yourself. That's why these home centers have so many of these. You don't get it provided when you move into your new apartment. And you know what else is not provided? Light fixtures. I was so surprised the first time I moved into an apartment and looked up at the ceiling and saw the place for the fixtures to go, but nothing was there, nothing was connected. You have to go into the home goods store and you have to buy the light fixtures yourself and hook them up yourself. If you come from America, where very often like even a washing machine and a dryer and a refrigerator and an oven, everything is already part of the apartment. It might not be furnished, but it will at least have the appliances and such. Well, in Japan, you might not even have light fixtures. Okay, it is time for our next quiz. What do you think these are? Now, I think it's pretty obvious that they're chopsticks, but what are they used for? Are they used for cooking in the kitchen? Are they actually used for gardening? Or are they specifically used as part of a barbecue set for when you're grilling meat outside? The correct answer is these are just ordinary cooking chopsticks, and I've found that they are very useful. I use them in my own cooking, even if I'm making more Western style dishes. So cooking chopsticks are actually something I've become very used to using, and they are very, very handy for a number of reasons. You pretty much find them in every single Japanese kitchen in any single home that you might come across. Now remember that gas stove I showed you? Remember, stove means the device for heating your home. Well, this item right here is a siphon, and there's different types. There's the super basic type where you actually use a squeeze bulb to draw the kerosene up, and there's other motorized types that have a meter on it and everything, but they basically serve the same purpose, which is to draw the kerosene up out of one of these red canisters that it's stored in, and then it is then put down into the gas stove itself so that you can fire it up and heat your home. So if you have a home that's using these kerosene stoves, then you're going to need one of these siphons so that you can get the gas. You take the red canister to a gas station, or sometimes there's delivery trucks that'll come around that'll fill up your cans for you. But yeah, that siphon is how you get the kerosene from point A to point B. Here's another item that's really obvious what it is. It's a pair of slippers. But what kind of slippers? Where would you use these slippers? Well, these are specifically for the toilet. In Japan, Japanese homes will always have a pair of slippers in the toilet because you've taken your shoes off at the door, you're not wearing your shoes inside, so you're in your socks. So you might think it's kind of gross to go into a toilet in just your bare feet or in your socks. So instead, provided are a pair of slippers in every single toilet in Japan, including in restaurants. If you've been here as a tourist, you've probably seen these. They're usually a kind of a cheap plastic version, but yeah, toilet slippers are an absolute necessity in every Japanese home. Okay, here is the last item, and it is also quiz item number 5. This thing right here, where are you going to find this in the house? Will it be A, on the toilet, B, in the kitchen sink, or C, is it used for indoor plants? The answer is it will be on top of an older style toilet that has a faucet on the top, as you can see here. Basically, a faucet would fill up the toilet bowl on top, and that's the water that would eventually go to the toilet bowl on the bottom. But in the meantime, you could have washed your hands in there, and also these basically toilet toppers, you can put them in there for a fresh scent and also for some minor cleaning help to keep your toilet clean. So yeah, you'll commonly, in these older toilets, you'll commonly see these things put up there. But of course, in Japan now we have the magical automatic washlet toilets, and so the toilets that actually have that function and use those items are greatly in decline. Okay, how did you do on the quiz? Let us know in the comments below. I want to really thank you for watching this video. If you want to support the channel, the best thing you can do is hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. And of course, share this content if you know someone who's moving to Japan or you just think they would be interested in this video. Also, I do have a Patreon and a Instagram that I invite you to follow. Those will be linked below. And of course, if you use my link below and my discount code Exjapter at Sakuraco, you will get $5 off your first order, and you will be helping the channel directly that way as well. But at the end of the day, most of all, I want to thank you for watching this particular video, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.